so fresh. When I walk by, breaking their necks. Waiting in line at the team store. Now I'm feeling fly like a condor. Eyes on me when I walk through the door. Man, I wish I bought a couple more. Cause I really love my city. It was worth every penny. If it were at my show, then I know they gon' tip me. Think I might add a couple patches. If you think it's ugly, you capping. Now my whole outfit matching. Never going out of fashion.
What's up, everyone? Welcome, episode 640, Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden with you here, September 30th, 2024. Got a special guest with me, known as Padres blogger, big on Instagram, and Mark Bartlett. He is also on X as well. That's where you can find him. Mark, thank you so much for joining the show. He's been on, obviously, before. I think this is a great time to have another diehard Padre fan on. Day before the Wild Card series starts. We don't know the matchup now. We're watching this game right now, Braves and the Mets. Braves just took a 2-0 lead. If the Braves win this game, that will be the Padres' opponent. And Chris Sale would be available to pitch game one. So I feel like we're pulling for the Mets here to get this comeback. But it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. Obviously, the next few days are going to be really cool. Hopefully it's only 2 games that we need. But Mark, welcome to the show. And just overall, your thoughts on this season. I mean, for you and for me, I think this team has outperformed the expectations that we thought going in.
I didn't think that.
Really? Okay.
That was...
you thought they were going to win 93 games.
Well, I knew they had probably hit at least 90. I didn't say 93, okay. But I knew that they would be there till the end. But again, like it's, you know, with the Padres in general, there's just something special in the air, right? This year, it just feels like everything is going their way. You know, just with even, you know, extra inning games, the way they're winning one run games from the beginning since Korea. Remember when I had you on since Korea, I would told you Jackson Merrill, Rookie of the Year. I told you guys that the New York Yankees trade was good for the Padres, not only in 2024, but I would say long term. But, you know, for me to say, yeah, I thought it would go perfectly all season long. No, we knew there would be some road bumps along the way, you know, but I'm stoked about the boys. And I think it's Mike Shildt at the helm. You know, he steered the boys in a direction where these guys are playing for each other. They're not playing for themselves. And I love what I'm seeing, you know, like in LA, when they played against the Dodgers this past series, these guys were out on the field before the Dodgers took batting practice. That never happens at Dodger Stadium. Even folks that work there were saying, why the hell the Padres, they're on the field stretching, they're doing all these things before the Dodgers. Like these guys, you know, there's team, you know, they're arriving on the bus on time, right? They're doing things together. And I'm excited, man. So, and the fans, right, have showed up since day one. And I think the energy is unmatched. But I just think that there's something in the air. It's just something. It's like the baseball gods, right? I told you, with Peter up there, with Tony, I'd say my father. You know, even my good friend that I lost this year, who was I would go to all Padre playoff games. And Profar's last home run at Petco Park, he hit it right to his seat. And those 2 seats that he usually has are empty at this point, right? But his brothers are going. But that day, those seats were empty, but they weren't empty because I know he was there in spirit. And that home run ball was hit right to his seat. And so I just think there's something special about this year. But I did think the Padres would at least hit 90 wins at the beginning of the year. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, and I thought this team was going to be a playoff team, but just the way that they've gotten there, I think, has been just so awesome for Padres fans to watch because of the little guys, not little guys, but the smaller moves, right, that AJ Preller has made. And what a fantastic job he has done this season with David Peralta and Donovan Solano and even someone like Jeremiah Estrada, who we didn't know really much of anything about going into the season. And Kyle Higashioka, his part in that Michael King deal. And then bringing in someone like Elias Diaz to be the backup and, you know, less pressure on that situation because Campy now can go down instead of having to force Campy to be in that backup role. Just the veterans that have been on this roster already, but came in and have been such a great addition to this team. They brought more energy. I mean, we already know that there's energy with this team with Tatis and Merrill and Profar and Arise. Obviously, that's a great addition as well. But like David Peralta, it feels like he has been such a great clubhouse addition. But then the guy hit, almost 300 while Tatis was out for months.
Yeah, exactly. And the mixture, the chemistry you talked about, even the young players such as Jackson was much needed, right? Along with Fernando, all the way up to Peralta. AJ hit on everything, I feel like, this year. And we can both agree that this was AJ's best year during his tenure with the Padres, and he crushed it. And, I don't think we're also just set up for 2024. This team is set up for a run for the years to come. And, with of course, with King and Dillon, we got them for another year. But I love what I'm seeing from Randy Vasquez, right? I love what I'm seeing. And Brito, of course, he needs more development. He's hurt down there. And Higgy was, to me, that guy changed everything with this pitching staff. He's consistent. He's calm. Even when he makes a mistake, you don't see him getting flustered. And bringing Diaz along, I thought that was clutch. For AJ. I love Luis Campusano. He has a lot to work on, but I think this Higgy and Diaz combo going to the playoffs with veteran leadership is exactly what we needed. But yeah, I think AJ hit it. It was a masterclass for him in 2024.
I mean, think about it. He's a scout at heart, and that's obviously the background. He gets limited with the payroll, so he really has to get into that scout background, not just going after all the stars, but going after those that he feels are hungry, still have something that they can give, some guys that would fit with this group. And maybe AJ is better when he has those constraints on him. And man, what move, and I was thinking about this the other day, what move hasn't worked out for AJ this year? In addition that he brought in for this year's team, has there been a move that has not worked out?
Man, that's hard to say, man.
I literally can't think of one move.
I can't pick one. And even if it didn't work out, that's part of baseball, right? But this guy has hit on literally, I would say, 90% of his moves this year. I can't pick one, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, no, I can't pick one that hasn't. Like, there's some people that would bring up someone like Adam Mazur, and I'm like, well, that wasn't an addition. That wasn't like a trade or a free agent addition. And then there's been some guys maybe that haven't worked out in full, like the full season. But Matt Waldron, let's say, and I know that wasn't an acquisition this year, but part of that Clevenger deal years ago, that dude was like our best pitcher for a 7-8 start stretch. He was pitching really well. And those games matter. I was saying the other day, those games that he was pitching then, and those were months ago, and it's easy to forget. Those games count the same as the game against the Dodgers last week where they clinched the playoff spot, So all these guys on this roster, it takes more than 26, and all of them to help this Padres team win at some point this year. Wandy was pitching well at one point as well, like all of these guys.
And Waldron is here for years to come, right? Mm-hmm. And folks would say, that Clevenger trade was brutal. But you have Matty Knuckles that's going to be here for years to come. Still under pre-arbitration, he's getting paid nothing, and you have him in the staff. Like, it's great to have guys like that. And I would say I was thinking of Matty, but I don't know who Yuki. I love what I see. Yuki hasn't pitched in a while, but I've actually loved what I've seen from him his last two games when he's come in.
Yeah, and if you go look at the game logs this year, he's had extended stretches of being really good. So again, like, everyone has helped.
Oh, you know what? What about Woo-Suk Go, right? But Woo-Suk Go went to Miami, and who came to the Padres from Miami? So, and I mean, there wasn't a lot of money there. And actually, we saved money, right? We actually sent Woo-Suk Go and his contract to the Marlins. Yeah. And I think he was DFA'd later.
So yeah, actually, that's a good pull. That's literally the only one. I totally forgot about him too. That's the one I would guess. And but you go look at other GMs this year in baseball, there's a bunch of moves that didn't work out for some of these guys. Farhan Zaidi just got canned with the Giants, and now Buster Posey is the head guy. So that's a little wild. But yeah, let's move to some of the best moments from this season before looking at this wild card series here. What are a few of your favorite moments from this season?
I mean, right off the bat, it's the triple play, right? It's the triple play, first game, clinch the playoffs. That has never happened. I don't think that's ever happened in baseball. A triple play and you clinch a playoff berth. That, and I would say even Luis Ariz, a bunch of his moments, him coming on board. Luis Ariz has been the game changer this year. This guy has been a table setter for the Pods. Yes, he's a singles and doubles hitter, but this guy makes things happen, right? He has so much energy, and his energy is not only on the field, but you actually see it in the dugout. And guys are learning from him, such as the Jackson. He's making contact. And so Luis moments, but I would say the triple play would be my number one moment so far this year.
Yeah, for me, I don't really have one. Like, if I had to pick one, it would probably be between the Merrill walk-off against Edwin Diaz or the Profar Manny moment there against the Nats. I mean, like, when the whole dugout is out there to get Manny Machado after he hits the homer, after the bench is clear and all that. Like, that was just such a uniting moment, I think, that just made this team even stronger. The Jurickson Profar walk-offs, the Luis Ariz walk-off against the Dodgers, welcome to San Diego. There's been so many. Obviously, Korea, Manny's homer there that really opened up that game, the second game in Korea. I think Dylan Cease threw a freaking no-hitter, like sometimes I feel like that gets forgotten. So there's just been so many. And this is, I think this is a good thing to go into. This is the team that Peter deserves. A team that fights, a team that wants to win for San Diego. They're together. They don't give up. It seems like they look at the manager, for sure, Mike Schilt, looks at the positive side and everything. It's literally like a team for Peter Seidler. And I think that's amazing.
And these boys are fighting for Peter, man. I mean, they have that heart in the dugout for every home game. They bring it on the road, and they're fighting for them, for him. And it's not only for Peter, right? I think it's for everyone in general. It's for every fan that has ever loved the Padres, that are up there, right? This is for Tony. It's for the city. And that's why they call it for the faithful, right? I would say, right? And I just think there's just something special. Again, they are up there with the baseball gods in their ears telling them, this is our year. This is for the fans. This is for the city. And Peter is just there at the helm, right? Leading it. And that's, I don't know if that's weird. I just see those things and I'm thinking, I know that PS Hart will be out there in center field, right? For the game.
Better
and
be.
I just think it's going to be magical, man. Peter Seidler, again, it was a godsend for the San Diego Padres and this city. He transformed baseball where folks are now, they're on the road. You see road games, people believe in the Padres, but not only believe, they love them. Like, it's embedded in their heart, right? The Padres are San Diego. There's no football here, right? It's baseball. This is a baseball town. And Peter played a big role in that by investing in players, by investing in fans, investing in the ballpark to bring fans an experience unlike no other. And fans are showing up because they see the investment. They love this team. They love this city, right? I don't have just SD tat. You see,
there we go.
SD tat on my arm just because it's here. It's because we believe in it. It's who we are. It's our identity. Padres baseball is everything to me, to you, to folks out there. Folks going to the game tomorrow at Petco Park, they're going there with passion, with love for the game, for Peter, for the Padres. And the energy is going to be unmatched, unlike no other. Like me and you, we won't be able to sleep tonight, right? Because we'll be thinking about Padres baseball. And it's just the game. But there's this love for the game, unlike any other sport, that just captivates me and you and bring folks together. We don't talk about politics, parties. We don't talk about football. We don't talk about religion, skin color, anything like that, or where we come from. We talk about Padres. It brings us together unlike no other, and that's the beauty of baseball, man. And Peter played a huge role in that, and he will forever be remembered by the faithful as a man that changed, the direction of baseball here in San Diego.
Perfectly said. With Peter, it's one of those things where it's someone that was so big for this city. San Diego would not be what it is right now without Peter Seidler. And I'm not talking about the Padres. I'm just talking about the city. And then when you move to the Padres, I mean, it's at a whole nother level of how it would be totally different if Peter Seidler was never a part of this organization. Yeah, I know he's going to be here. That's not physically, but he is definitely going to be here at Petco Park coming up this week. And I know that he's had probably the biggest smile on his face watching this team this year, watching his GM. Because remember, and I think rightfully so in the moment, we got on him for some of the comments that he had about, AJ, he wasn't going to be going anywhere. And just because of how frustrating it was at that point in time, middle of the season in that interview with Kevin Acee last year. But the guy that he believed in, he has constructed this team, and look what has happened. So I think it's a lesson outside of the Padres in baseball, but like belief is a really strong thing. And if you truly do believe in someone, it may eventually work out. And yeah, it's inspiring. That's all. I think it's inspiring for a lot of different people. Let's move to this wild card matchup. So Padres Braves is what it could be. Padres Mets is what it would be if the Mets won both games, I believe, against the Braves. And then the D-backs would get in and play Milwaukee. But who would you rather face right now, Braves or the Mets? For me, it's the Braves if the Mets win game 1 here, because then Chris Sale has to pitch game 2. Both ways, I'm confident in this Padres team. I love our starting pitching. I love our bullpen. Robert Suarez, yeah, it's a little iffy. But Tanner Scott has been a little iffy as well. I think that Robert Suarez in a playoff situation, even with some of the struggles that he's had, if you put him in the right spot with a righty lane, I don't know about the 9th inning, but 7th inning, something like that, that wouldn't be the worst option. But yeah, just your thoughts on what could come here.
Yeah, again, I'm hoping that the Mets could win, right, game 1, so they could push to game 2 and force Chris Sale to pitch, the second game. But Sale hasn't been himself either. He hasn't pitched in 10 days. In his last game, he only went 5 innings, but he looked hurt, man. He didn't look himself. But again, I think either team, the Mets, I just think of 2022 when we gave it to them, right? We went to New York. We took it from them. I don't want that to happen here in San Diego. To be honest with you, I'd rather face the Braves at this point. But that's without Chris Sale pitching game 1. But you still got to get through Max Fried, right, and Ronaldo. So, again, their pitching staff is unlike no other. But their offense is kind of shaky. It's been different. They got a lot of injuries. So, yeah, I mean, I'd face the Braves, but I don't think it's going to matter, man. Like, these boys are just going to come out firing. The energy it's going to be through the roof. The pitching staff is well rested. You bring up a great point with Suarez. You know what I love? Remember in 2022 when Suarez came in the 7th, right, against the Dodgers multiple times and shut the door with that fastball. I mean, that may be I think it's going to be by committee, by feel, who's, matchups. So I don't know. Suarez has been shaky as of late. I know you, just like the last game, all of us were like, oh, my God, here we go again. But he came through. But Mike Schilt loves the consistency. He loves believing in his players. I think he's going to have there's going to be this different level. I'm confident in Suarez. They may hit 101 with his fastball, but he's just got to locate it and use that changeup. He did use that changeup a bit more last game. And so I think he looked a little better at that point. But I mean, I'd rather face the Diamondbacks. So imagine if one of them lost both games. But we wouldn't face them anyways. It's between the Mets or Braves. So I would say the Braves if Chris Sale pitches game 2 today.
Yeah. I was just thinking when you were talking about Suarez, remember 2022, even the homer that he gave up to Bryce, that changeup was nasty.
Yeah.
Like, can he get back to that with that changeup? Because if that's the case, I mean, I haven't seen it, but if that's the case, he very well could be pitching the 9th inning for the Padres. Like, that's a nasty combination there if he can locate the fastball and if he can get that changeup back to what it was.
But if it's the 8th or 9th, I'm not going to lie, this year, if we got Bryce Harper up there, I'd rather have Tanner Scott
for
dealing with Bryce Harper, right? And look what Tanner Scott did to Ohtani. That one strikeout, he just made him look like a fool.
Yeah.
The next game, he did get that hit, but that was weak, right? And so, man, this bullpen is like Adams. His stuff is filthy.
Yeah.
And, with Estrada, I mean, what if you have a bullpen like this? This bullpen is awesome, man.
Yeah. And to be honest, if Schilt, because I know he has the faith in his players, so faith in Robert Suarez, and doesn't really want to change what he's got going right now. But if he can get off Suarez 9th inning, Jason Adam in the 9th inning with his stuff, his breaking ball, and you have 2 righties coming up out of the 3, let's say. I am not closing that door. I would be like, Jason Adam, come on in. He has been elite for this Padres team. Brian Hoeing has been really good. Estrada, like you mentioned, Morejon. They've got a lot of depth. And we'll see, obviously, who doesn't start in this wild card series, who's going to be in the bullpen, and does that add something else as well?
Yeah. Who would you have to have? I mean, for game 1 and 2 of the wild card, are you going with Cease for game 1 or King or Joe?
I think you got to go Cease game 1, and then the decision comes down to Musgrove or King for game 2. I don't know if you said it before the series, because we're going to find out probably around 4 o'clock today when Schilt talks to the media. But maybe if we lose game 1, we got Musgrove game 2. If we win game 1, we've got King game 2, and you save Musgrove for game 3. But Michael King hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs since the beginning of August, I think. So, like August 5th, whatever it was. So do you have him be the, must-win game, we're going to go with Michael King, and we'll go with Musgrove the other game? Saving Michael King for game 1 of the division series against the Dodgers, if you can win the first 2 games, that would be amazing. Or if you have Joe Musgrove for game 1, if you win the first 2 games. Like that, there's no wrong answer for me. I have a Musgrove thing right here, so I'm biased. He's the San Diego guy, and just what he did in the 2022 postseason. It's not like he's pitching terribly. He's actually been doing really good since coming off the IL. So I don't think there's a wrong choice. I guess the wrong choice would be having Darvish start one of the games. I feel like I don't want to, be like, I have no faith in Darvish. It's just, for me, it's clear that the 3 best starters right now are King, Cease, and Musgrove, and it's just a matter of who gets the priority, who are you pitching in games 1 and 2, who gets game 3 if it goes to that. And then you'd have Darvish starting game 1 of the division series if you go all 3, and you can have Martin Perez as well. I mean, he's been pretty good. So, yeah, I don't think there's a wrong choice. How would you do this?
Cease 1, King 2, Joe 3. Joe, if it does go to Joe, there's a reason why I go Joe game 3. This guy has that killer instinct.
Yep.
Just like in New York in 2022, we needed Joe in game 3. Well, actually, Joe in game 3, right? He shut the door. And from what I've seen from Joe lately, his last start against the Dodgers, he was amazing. Yes, he gave up that shot. It was just one bad pitch to Will Smith. The next batter he struck out. To be honest with you, I would have loved Joe to finish that inning after striking out the next batter after the home run. But I would love to see Cease 1, Michael King 2, and Joe 3. And also, because if we do take the first 2 games, I mean, what better fit? Joe Musgrove, NLDS, game 1 in LA.
And that would line him up probably to pitch a game 5, right? Or 4 or 5 if it gets to that. Yeah.
At home. And so Joe at home is different. I mean, you may have, what's his name? Oh, look at the spin. Look at the velocity. It's up, man. This guy's cheating, right? From MLB.
Yeah.
Joe, I mean, I think all their rates are going to be up during the playoffs because these guys are going to be amped. But Cease 1, King 2, Joe 3.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to look too far ahead, but if they get past the Braves or the Mets in the wild card series, it would be the Dodgers and then maybe the Phillies. It would be the same path, especially if they face the Mets. It would be the same path to get to the World Series. And maybe it would be the Astros, which was the 2022 AL representative. So this is very interesting how it's lining up. And for me, I might be more worried going into this wild card series than going into the Dodgers series, to be honest. With the pitching for the Dodgers and the pitching that might come in the wild card series, and it's a shorter series. There's less room for error. Am I insane for that? I don't know.
I agree with you 100%, man. A 3-game series is different. You lose game 1, I mean that's tough. You're going to game 2. We got to win or we're done. In a 5-game, 7-game series, I think we match up against any team in baseball. Yeah. This pitching staff is deep. And when you're comparing the Padres to Dodgers, it's different. I mean, you got Dodgers with, a Yamamoto that's not fully healthy yet, just came back. And you got a Flaherty that, I think the Padres actually fared well against him during his last start. And Walker Buehler, who would start, I think, game 3, right? And then you got Knack for game 4. Walker Buehler didn't even do well against the Padres. You just had Padres had a lot of hard hit balls hit at people, a lot of singles and doubles. So I'm not afraid at all. If you got a King, Joe against the Dodgers, I put that up against them and the Phillies. And going into the World Series, if you were to face an Astros team, we saw what it would look like between the Padres and Astros here at Petco Park. And I think we did pretty well.
Yes.
And you got the Yankees juggernaut, right? That's the one thing. The Yankees do have the bats, but they're very top heavy. And I think we fare well against their pitching staff as well. But yeah, I'm actually, for this wild card, this is a tough round, man. That's why it's key to get that first round bye. And fans will say, Dodger fans will say, man, I'd rather be playing. No, you would not rather be playing in the NL Wild Card. If the Dodgers played in the NL Wild Card, they would get swept in the NLDS with that pitching staff. Guaranteed. Yeah. Well, maybe not swept. Maybe might win one. But, they're at least saving their best pitcher for game 1 of the NLDS.
Yeah. I do want to get to some of the chat here because we are live, so this is great that we can get some feedback. For those that are saying that about the echo, before we went live, we were talking about that. I apologize for that. I've tried to fix that, and it hasn't worked, I guess. So bear with me here. Someone says we should use Vasquez as a reliever. He's already been sent down, so that can't happen. And I like the bullpen depth, and in a wild card series, you add a starter to that bullpen, a couple actually, if you wanted to that bullpen. So yeah, that would not happen, and it can't happen. Let's see. Tanner Scott has not looked good either, but for me, that's more of it was like 1 or 2 appearances, right? With Robert Suarez, it's been more extended.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all with Tanner Scott. He's a bulldog. Yeah. And I think with a couple more days rest as well, he's even better. You do see him struggle after back-to-back at times. Like he'll give up a couple of hits. But I think what key is that first batter. If you don't walk that first batter or get that first batter, I think like that first out is clutch. If they get that first out. But they also at times, I don't know if you've noticed, these Suarez will get into these 0-2 counts where they're ahead and they end up walking the guy. Or the guy, he ends up, a full count and then he's stressed. I've seen that a lot with Suarez, but I think at this point I'm more confident in Tanner.
Yeah, for me too, for sure. Out of those 3, I mean, for me it's Jason Adam, but of those 2, Tanner Scott. CJ says, "Love this dude. His energy is very contagious." So compliment to you, Mark. Good job.
Thanks, CJ. Appreciate you, man.
I agree with that too. Yeah, I love this guy. Let's see here. How would the seeding work for the D-backs? Padres would not play the D-backs. The D-backs, if they get in, they'd be the 6th seed, and they'd go to Milwaukee.
Yep.
And the Padres would be playing the Mets or the Braves. That's how it would be. The
D-backs prove themselves, man.
Yes. Didn't they choke like a 5-0 lead or something to the
They
Royals?
choked the 8-0 lead against the
8.
Brewers.
They pulled
And
the
on
Cubs,
top of that, the Padres pitched Randy Vasquez in game 2.
Yeah.
They couldn't even take it. I mean, Randy had a no hitter, a perfect game, no hitter through 5 or 6. So they screwed up big time. The opportunities were definitely there. But I think what also sucks for the D-backs, if you think about it, today, whoever wins game 1, for game 2, they're not going to go all out. They've already clinched the spot. So in my eyes, I actually think it's a win-win for both teams that are, they got to pitch tomorrow. Hey, but if you want a spot, just win one of the games.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like they're going to go all out here for this first game. I know the Braves aren't pitching Sale, but try as hard as you can that first game so that you can, get ready for that second. Have a little bit less. I'm checking right. I haven't seen any other updates, so I think it's still 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, 2-0 at the end of the 5th.
Who's pitching anyways?
So Swellenbach's pitching for the Braves, and then the Mets had, I want to say it was
Severino?
Tyler McGill.
Okay.
Severino would pitch game 2.
Game 2 then. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Then, they're using Miguel and Severino in games 1 and 2. I don't know if Manea would go. No, because he just pitched as well, Sean.
Yeah. So if the Mets were to come here, I don't know I thought Quintana just pitched as well, but they're gonna have to throw one of those guys because who else would they go to?
Yeah.
So there wouldn't even be. Neither team's going to be in a great spot. I see in the comments here. Is it going to be Cease versus Sale? It might be if the Braves win this first game, because then they wouldn't throw Sale, and then the Padres could throw Cease game 1, which it feels like that's what would happen. King's going to have the good thing with King. He's going to have a lot of rest because he didn't even have to pitch in that Arizona series. That was so big to get that win on that Friday, so that you could just rest high leverage relievers, rest Michael King, and you could, just go through those next couple of games, have Luis Ariz go get that batting title, which I was saying the other day, how impressive that is. Obviously it was impressive what Tony did, back when he was playing, but with Luis Ariz, he's not facing starters 4 times. He's facing them maybe 3. They're nasty. It's upper 90s, breaking balls. Then the relievers come in. They're all throwing upper 90s with breaking balls, sweepers, changeups, fastballs. I mean, it's not very easy on him. And he sometimes can make it harder on himself, I feel like, by swinging at pitches that are outside the zone. He's not walking, so it just makes it even harder. Yeah.
He wants to make contact. That's the crazy. Even if he's down, the count's 3-0, he's going to swing. He doesn't want to walk. But Luis, again, I would say, even though he's not getting RBIs, no home runs, triples, he's the exact player the Padres needed to set the table, and his energy, again, is unmatched in that clubhouse, in that dugout. I mean, guys gravitate towards, they love his energy. And I'm hoping we keep Luis in San Diego for the long term. Just the way he is. He's a great family man. You can see what he does so many things with his family. He loves San Diego. You can see him out doing things, right? On his Instagram, he's out there fishing. He's at the zoo. He's at Legoland. He loves the San Diego life. And I think he's very appreciative of the small things. And that's what I really love about Luis. He's a great team player. And I'm hoping we can keep him.
Appreciative of being on a winner, I think, too. It's what he was with the Marlins. I mean, him, Skip Schumacher. Hopefully Skip doesn't go manage the Dodgers when the Dodgers get eliminated, and Dave may get, axed if they go get.
Oh man, you can see them Dodgers fans already. They've been saying axe Dave all year. But again, the Dodgers finished number 1 in Major League Baseball, best record in baseball. They did have a lot of injuries, but I get it. I mean, I'd probably be pissed too, right? But like, God damn it, Dave, come on, man. Get us to the damn World Series. And I would say Manny's bet is still alive, because you Dodger fans, you have yet to win a full season World Series since 1988. A 60-game season does not count. That is not baseball. We all know that. There's a reason why you guys can't sustain a full season. Look at all your injuries now, right? You got to win in a 60 game. So yeah, Manny's bet is still alive to that one Dodgers fan.
It would be one thing if they had won a World Series in a full season and they won 2020. I think more people would be like, yeah, we can count that as a World Series too. because you've done it in a full season, and this is just the circumstances you were playing under. But when you don't do it in a full season, it opens that up. Carter here says, tell Padres blogger he's awesome and he's got a good sense of humor. So there you go. Another compliment.
Thanks,
there.
Carter. Hey, man, I'm pretty sure you're thinking about me going crazy, right? My little rants or when the Padres win or things like that, man. And that's just who I am, man. My wife may sometimes think I'm crazy, and my kids like, calm down, Dad. But man, just like you and folks in this chat, there's a reason why you're tuning in. It's because you love Padres baseball.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think us fans, we feed off each other.
Yeah. I see someone in the comments says Sale's already set to pitch game 2. That's what it says on ESPN. Right now, yes, but that will change once the Braves win, if they do win. As of now, the score is 2-0. And one more question that I have for Mark before we get out of here. And real quick, the main sponsor, partner of this show, Gaglione Bros Famous Cheesesteaks and Garlic Fries. They're at Petco Park. So if you're going tomorrow like I am, and hopefully I'm going on Wednesday, hopefully there's no game on Thursday because we want that thing to be over with in 2 games and just move on to the Dodgers.
Hey, real quick, there were some folks that bought tickets to game 3, right? And they're like, man, I want to. And I told them, I'm sorry. I do not want you to go to the game. I hope the Padres win the first 2 games. You're going to have to wait for the NLDS. No, we do not want the Padres to lose 1 game.
Yeah, totally agree with that. So Gaglione Bros, their main location is on Friars Road, but they're at Petco Park, down the third baseline. It's probably going to be a packed line, so get there early if you want it. Cheesesteak fries, cheesesteaks, garlic fries. They are the best there. Chad says, love the sweep videos. Said Padres that only if the Braves lose this first. Oh, he's talking about Chris Sale. Yeah. So my one question that I had going into this wild card series before we get out of here, what's your setup going to be? Are you going to the games? And just how are you going to be? How do you think you're going to be feeling the day of the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be at all the games. Actually, giving away a pair of tickets for tomorrow's game. We're gonna do a little giveaway. Yeah, so we're going to do a giveaway, Padres playoff tickets. And also here, this is also, we're going to give away a Jackson Merrill PSA 10 auto card, right? Bowman Chrome. This is like $400. PSA 10 already graded. We're doing that giveaway today, actually, after this show. But yeah, I'll be at all the games. We're going to do that. There's going to be the tailgate at Padres at the tailgate lot. It'll be the largest tailgate. Padre fans, you got to show up. It's going to be fun. Beers. Yes, I'll bring my Wallace. We'll be sweeping. I'm hoping we're sweeping the team we play. But just energy that's unmatched. Just a bunch of loyal Padre fans that put this on. And I'll beat all the games. NLDS we got the tickets already secured as well. Probably you as well. But if I'm going to be there for all of them, man, for all the games. Going into it, I'm nervous, right? I'm only nervous because I don't want to lose. But man, I think this year is just special. I think the Padres, the baseball gods, and Peter and Tony, and I would say my father up there, they're looking over our Padres, y'all. And again, if you can, I'm speaking to you. If you can't, if you can't make it to the game, just go downtown. Be with friends, enjoy the game, block out that time. This city it's going to be quiet during that game, right? No, the freeways, there's going to be no traffic on the freeways. The city will be shut down, but downtown, I think, is going to be magical. It's going to be packed. Get there early. There's a lot of things going on. I think a lot of radio shows are also throwing watch parties, and they're doing their programming from Petco Park. That's awesome. And restaurants, breweries, they're doing a lot of different things. But yeah, I think I'm a little nervous going into it, but also very excited. And yeah, can't wait to see you guys there. How about you? How do you feel about it?
Oh, I'm a little bit nervous, but I am excited at the same time. Like, I feel really good about this team, but I'm nervous because it's a 3-game series and you just don't know what's going to happen. We were talking about that earlier. It's 3 games. The White Sox win series this year. It happened. So I'm more excited than nervous, obviously, but I'm not just going to sit here and be like, no, I'm not nervous at all. Like, no, there's a little bit there.
And again, a 3-game series is different, y'all. This is no 5-game, no 7. This is the first one that wins 2 games is advancing to the next round. If you got to face a Braves pitching staff, that's daunting. But I'm confident in the Padres back. But if you're facing the Braves pitching staff, you're also facing who? The Padres pitching staff. And so I think them going into that ballpark, like Cease and King, they're going to see this ballpark. They're going to be like, and I can even say King will say this, the fan experience, a playoff atmosphere is better in San Diego compared to New York. Right off the bat. I mean, I've been to New York for playoff games. And I mean, they don't even sell out like we sell out. And you know, the fans here, this is what we believe in. This is what we're about. You know, there's no football, there's no hockey, there's no NBA. It's Padres baseball. It's going to be electric, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. Same right here. All right, Mark Bartlett at Padres Blogger on Instagram. You can find him on X as well. Thank you so much for the time, man. I really do appreciate it, and can't wait for this week.
Thanks, Ben. Hey, man, shout out to Ben, everything he does, man. Ben, you're always out there on Twitter. I mean, always putting things out. If there's a highlight, I guarantee you 5 seconds later, Ben has it already out there. He's already clipped. Boom. Man, how the hell this guy? I'm like, this guy's on his phone. But, man, Ben always gives us the latest and greatest. And, you know, you're a team player, brother. You're always out there supporting each other. That's what I love about you, man. Thanks again for having me.
No, thank you. Yeah, I do it for you all. I appreciate it. All right. Have a good one, everybody, and see you all later.
Go.